What is up, everybody? And welcome back to On the Brick Road again, the only podcast where we're on the road, baby. Now, is it made of bricks? No. But are we talking about bricks? Heck yes. Indeed we are. And my name is Kyle. I'll be your host today. Let me tell you, folks, I'm a happy-go-lucky camper right now. I'm a very happy guy. And it's not just because the full images have officially leaked for the UCS $1,000 Lego Death Star. But I'm just a happy guy, man. About happy as a man can be. It's just been a good day. Coming back a little late at night, but not too late at night, from some personal matters and dealings. And I figured what better time, I'm in such a good mood, and the news just dropped about that BEA beautiful Death Star. Why not capitalize on it? So let's get into it, folks. We're going to talk about it today. We're going to talk about the leaked images of this cheese wheel of a Death Star. And we are going to go over the highs. We're going to go over the lows. The minifigures have been leaked as well. And we'll go over those, see what they have to offer, see if they're worth the money. We're going to go over it all. It's going to be great. It's going to be fun. And we're going to have a grand old time. So let's jump into it. First things first, the minifigures are the most exciting part for me. I cannot lie. So I want to talk about those minifigures. I want to talk about them. I want to tell y'all what I know about them. Because let me tell you, they're just cool, man. They're cool. And I just really want to get into them. There's really just a few minifigures that we were a little uncertain about. So some confirmations. First and foremost, there are 6 Stormtroopers, 8 if you include the Han and Luke disguises. We also are getting 2 Navy Troopers. Looks like one of them might be a repeat of the Navy Trooper we got in the Star Destroyer, but the other one is a new one with a new flesh tone for the head, but it still has the strap on it. And then some people were speculating we were going to get 2 pilot minifigures. But we're not. We're only getting 1 Imperial pilot, and we're actually going to get, diddly darn, that's an ambulance. I'm in the heart of the city. Hopefully everyone's okay. Some crazy stuff happens here, so just trying to. Oh, they're turning behind me. Oh gosh. You know what? Let's just go this way. If you're turning, then I'm gonna get out your way, bro. Well, listen, I'll work with you, dude. Man, I'm sorry, folks. It's wild out here. You know how I'll be out in the city sometimes. Whew. I'm a bit of a country folk myself, if you haven't heard. Anyways, so not going to be two pilots. It's actually going to be a Imperial Navy officer, or you could say an Imperial Stormtrooper officer. It's really up to you. Both of them wear the black uniforms, and that's what this guy's wearing. Looks like a different one from the previous Death Star in the sense that this one has a slightly darker skin tone, it looks like, potentially. But it's still a black uniform and looks like all blue on that rank plate. Can't really quite make out like what the rank is. It looks like it's probably 4 blue squares, but I could not swear by that. But yeah, overall, pretty cool that we're getting that minifigure. I was really hoping we would. The set would feel just like incomplete without it. And so that's pretty neat. When it comes to the buildable characters, it looks like there's definitely going to be a interrogation droid. The interrogation droid doesn't look, too great, because honestly it looks like they used a 2x2 dome piece, kind of like that they use for the astromech droids. Also, I don't know if y'all can hear this, but it's a coming down. It's a raining. It's raining. It's pouring. I hope an old man is snoring somewhere, and he's not driving. Oof. But yeah, so interrogation droid does not look that great. I'm not overly impressed or happy with it. I think the older design is better. Again, this is a very blurry image though I'm working with, so I can't promise you that's how it looks, but that's how it looks. Now, when we go into the other buildable characters, there is a mouse droid. He looks like a pretty big size mouse droid as well, which I like. I'm always been a proponent of big mouse droids personally. That's always been my jam, because I just love the mouse droid, so I love to see him get some love and respect. I could not see a buildable Dianoga. I believe that's what the creature feature is called inside that trash compactor, which we'll get to the trash compactor, baby. Let me tell you, we'll get to it. But it's okay. If he's not included, it's not the end of the world, but he should be, I think, especially since they have that buildable mouse droid, buildable interrogation droid. That's really it for the minifigure news. Nothing else crazy or unexpected. Again, there are 6 stormtroopers, just like we thought. That's kind of one of the missing minifigures that we were wondering about. It's covered up with that blanket from the previous leaked image. But yeah, so all the minifigures are now officially confirmed for the set. Of course, if you would like to see them yourself, you most certainly can look up these images, but they are hot, so be careful if you post them online, because you might get in a little bit of trouble for it. But they are posted online. You can find them if you so choose to see them. So, moving into the set itself, I want to first mention that it has a side plaque that has the typical UCS information. It has like the picture of the set in blue, looks very much like a diagram. It has some information about the set, and then on this side plaque, there's also Director Krennic and Galen Erso, since they don't really have a place in the Death Star itself, so they're on that plaque. And then there's also a build on the plaque. Lots of people seem to be wondering what it is. No one seems to know what it is, though. From the best guess, in my personal opinion, it looks to be some kind of workbench, possibly Galen Erso's workbench for when he was working on creating the Death Star plans. And it looks like that. I'm really hoping that it's, because it has like a sticker on it, or it's probably a sticker. It could be a print. Come on, we know Lego, though. They go to cheap us even on a $1,000 Lego set, because that's what they do. And we'll get into the cheapness of this set. Don't get me wrong. We'll get into it. But it's probably a sticker, and I'm really hoping, though, that in the sticker details somewhere it says Stardust. The code name for the project, but also the nickname of Jyn Erso, Galen's daughter, and the main character of Rogue One, a fantastic Star Wars movie, or Star Wars story as it was advertised. Excuse me. And with that, we got to get into the meat and potatoes, or should I say the cheese of this set, because it's a freaking wheel. It is a cheese wheel. It is a freaking bologna slice of a set. And man, does that suck. It blows. I'm not even going to sugarcoat it. The fact that this is not a ball, a paneled ball for $1,000, a stack. It's mind-boggling, and I've already kind of, I've yapped about this a fair amount, and I've complained about this in the previous video. So I'm not going to sit here and just yap the entire time, complain about how awful this is. But it's bad. This was not the play. This is not what should have been done. But it is what was done. And we gotta live with it, but that's, Lego just be doing dumb things sometimes. And it's a shame, too, because the set isn't the worst thing in the world to look at, but it definitely is not what it should have been, which is a paneled ball with full interior. And it also, as its current state, is not worth $1,000. So let's get into the logistics. It is, in the essence, a dollhouse-esque look, where the front is all open, and it has several rooms in it, and all the rooms are of the major Death Star scenes and stuff, and we'll go over the full list of rooms. But yeah, it's the full scenes, all the Death Star scenes that you could ever hope for, and they're all there. And they are, they look good, I can't deny it. Like, there's good detailing. Some of them are a little cramped, a little compact, especially the prison cell, the prison area, and also the trash compactor is a little compact, but because it compacts, and it is small, compact. Please don't stop watching. I need the views, please. Anyways, moving on. So that's kind of a dull point. And there's also a few rooms that just seem empty, particularly the rooms that house the elevator on certain floors seem very empty. Like, it's just a room with an elevator, and it's a very bland elevator at that. And of course, we'll get to the elevator itself in 1 second. We'll get to the meat and potatoes of this build, really the interior, which is just all over the place, man. Holy guacamole, it's also coming down. I'm calling timber. Ooh, I just aged myself right there. Jeez Louise. But yeah, I mean, oh my gosh, man. Golly Miss Molly, it is. The set is sad to look at sometimes because it could have been great. But yeah, so another thing about the rooms to know is some of them appear like they are connected to other rooms and like you can access them, but some of them are sealed off and there's no door access, there's no elevator access, and so it really is like its own separate little cell, really. It's like a cell in the Death Star, its own separate unique thing. And that really bothers me because something I loved about the earlier renditions of the Death Star, like the 2016 playset, is that, shoot, everything was accessible. Like, you could get to every single room, theoretically, as a walking minifigure from every other room. You may have to walk through different rooms, you may have to take an elevator, you may have to, like, walk through things like that. You may have to do some jimmy rigging, but like you could always get to every single room. And I love that. It's like, for play purposes, or even for my own peace of mind as a collector that likes to have pretty functioning sets, for minifigures that is, I thought that was great. And I loved it. And I was very happy with it. And, it went under a bridge there. No more water, but it's back. But anyways, so I love that. I thought it was such a great feature. It was one of my favorites, and they've taken that away now. And it's just these individual little cells for some of the rooms. Some of the rooms do connect to other rooms, and you can theoretically have a minifigure walk through them. But oh well. Yeah. So let's get into the rooms themselves. That's what y'all are interested in, I'm quite sure. All the rooms are just open on the front of the Death Star. It looks like the side, which is not overly thick. It seems it really is about maybe thick as I don't know. You take like an iPhone and put it on its side. It's about as thick as that, maybe slightly less thick. Take any kind of smartphone, really, put it on its side. It's about that thick. And the side has paneling, obviously, but it doesn't seem like the back. We don't know about. We don't know about the back yet, how that looks. But yeah, the front all open. There's like a black border built in between all the different rooms. It looks like to give it a bit of a sleek display look and feel to it. Particularly, it really does feel like a diorama. Like, you look at this and you're like, yeah, this is just a big diorama with multiple cells. The set itself does have the bottom juts out a little bit to give it some stability. It doesn't have a stand, it's just like the circle and like it juts out a bit, so it's a bit thicker at the bottom. So it sits on that, has stability. And all the rooms are of various sizes, and they all have different themes to them. And again, they look pretty well done, if a bit small. Now, some rooms are obvious. You get your big hitters, you get your cell block, you get your trash compactor, which we've seen the trash compactor before. Both of those are pretty small and cramped. You get the Emperor's Throne Room, which, in all honesty, just feels like the diorama for the Emperor's Throne Room. Maybe a tad bit smaller. Nothing new. You get the laser, which the laser looks great. You get a great look at it, and it's kind of like, interior workings. I mean, that is really the highlight of the set, I would say, is that laser. It looks sick as frick. Man. And it's so cool, but it's a shame that it is in this very wonky diorama set. This really should have been more of a Master Builder Series set, in my humble opinion. And also, this is a diorama. Like, you market this as a UCS set. It has a UCS plaque, but it is actually designed like a diorama. Like, this is not a UCS set. This is a diorama set. Get that very clear if you want to buy this. But yeah, so you have that Death Star laser. There's also kind of like a little room overlooking it. I guess that's kind of like the room that Tarkin and Leia are kind of being in when Alderaan gets turned into Pebble Ron in episode 4. So that's kind of cool. You also get a like shuttle room or like a hangar bay. And so this kind of mimics the hangar bay where the Emperor comes in. You can have a procession of stormtroopers. It also could be like mimic the scene where like the Millennium Falcon is, although of course the Millennium Falcon will not fit in there. However, they do fit an Imperial shuttle in there, an Imperial Lambda class shuttle, which is really cool that they've done that. It's super cool to see like a relatively big size ship sitting inside of another Lego ship. There's just something about that I absolutely love, and like it appeals to my inner kid. My inner like little kid would love that. So super neat, really, that they included that. However, because there's always got to be a however, the shuttle itself is definitely downscaled, but they downscaled the shuttle, but not really the head, the cockpit, and so it looks a little disproportionate. It looks a little goofy. It's not the worst thing in the world. It's still pretty cool, but definitely a little lackluster, you know. It's like, man, you could have done something better with that, couldn't you? You could have. But oh well, what you know, what can you do? So that's how that looks. There is the server room or the control room that Han is sitting in the Stormtrooper design. He's got his feet kicked up. That room is included, and it overlooks the hangar bay, which is really neat. Very cool inclusion, but unfortunately there's no way to access that, it looks like, so it's kind of just its own little empty cell with no door, and that just irks me. It irks me so much. Like, I like when things make sense, and it's like, yeah, this is how you get to this room. Heck, they could have included a ladder. Just include like a random ladder, like a tiny build. It would have made me happy. But it looks like there isn't anything like that from the images I've seen. So that sucks. Oh man, there's another ambulance. Gosh, it's a rainy night and it's a weekend. People are out partying, and it's risky business out there, If everyone's driving, drive safe out there, man. Pray for those that might need it. But hey, back on the grind, back doing what we are meant to be doing on the brick road again. Come on, kind of funny I said that. Anyways, moving on. So that just kind of irks me. Now, the hangar bay itself does have a cool feature where it appears that the back of the hangar bay looks like space. It's all brick build to be like space. There's a few dots for planets or potentially stars. That's really neat, really cool looking. I mean, it's not anything amazing, but it's cool that they did that. Looks like there's a tiny cart also in the hangar bay. That's probably to represent the scanning cruise cart that they take in to scan the Millennium Falcon. Cool inclusion, like to see it. Now, there's also a little turbo battery for two gunners to sit in, shooting a gun. One of the big turbo lasers. But that, funny enough, is on the side of the Death Star. It's on the opposite side of the laser. So the laser sticks out the side on one side of the Death Star, and then this sticks out the other, and the room's on the side. It's kind of cool that they have that feature. It's a little weird, but it's kind of cool. Kind of weird, though, that it looks like to access that, there's a door in the Emperor's throne room to access that, which is kind of weird. I don't know if that's how that works, but that's what it appears to do. Very strange, but I mean, do it, I guess. I'm just glad there's a door, really. That's the only turbo laser battery, though, so we don't get any more, kind of like how we had in the 2016 version. We had two, box turbo laser batteries that were on the top of the Death Star. Don't have that, which kind of sucks that there's not so many guns, but what can you do? Now, there is also a room that is very tiny, but it's Darth Vader's meditation chamber, which should be on his Star Destroyer, but it's also in the Death Star. Which, I mean, maybe it's possible that he had another one in the Death Star. Maybe it's in some obscure lore book that's how that works. Or potentially, you know, maybe he just had me. Maybe that's a reasonable thing to believe that he had that. Kind of a weird inclusion though, but hey, I'll take it. It looks pretty good. The set itself, it looks pretty decent. Obviously, it's scaled down, but it's bigger than the version that was included in Darth Vader's castle. And we don't have a cargo bay like we had in the 2016 version of Death Star. We also do not have a droid repair room like we had in the 2016 version of the Death Star. We do, however, have a hallway. And it's just a hallway. It's to recreate that scene where Han's running down the hallway being chased by all the stormtroopers, which is cool, but like it's a little lame because it takes up a lot of space and it's just a hallway. And, you know, but so what can you do? We also have an elevator system that looks like it runs up the entire Death Star, which is cool. However, I highly doubt that the elevator is going to actually work. It's probably not going to work, honestly, which is, you know, lame. But it is what it is, I reckon. You know, what can you do? Kind of lame, though. But it might work. It might work, for all we know. Unfortunately, a lot of those rooms, because the elevator obviously has like its own space in like a hallway. It seems that a lot of those rooms don't really have anything in them. They just seem very empty and bland, which, like, I feel like they should have made those rooms smaller, or they should have, like, included something, or I don't know, man. Just, like, give us something, bro. Like, we need something here, man. And some of them do have things in them. They, like, connect to other rooms, and so it, like, just feels like it's a bigger room. But a lot of them are empty, which kind of sucks. One of them does appear to have a secret room that you have to turn a gear to access, and that secret room is almost undoubtedly going to be the Stormtrooper hot tub scene, which, that's really neat. That's really cool. It's a cool inclusion, first of all, but it's really cool that they included this hidden, because there's some people that want to have like a serious display set, and they don't want to have this hot tub because that's not canon. Blah, 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 blah. You know? So it's cool that they included that. And I know I'm joking around like, it's not canon. Like, you know, being like Admiral Akbar here. But like that, I really do think that's cool. And, you know, if you want to display your set like that, you know, props to you. Cool. That's, you know, you do you, dog. I'm being blinded now. There's a man with his brakes on. Brother, you're going rather fast. He's zipping around me, and personally, I just wouldn't go that fast in this weather, man. Anyways, you know, it's a pretty cool set design feature right there to have that. So I like it. I dig it, really. Now, I believe I've hit all of the the conference room, of course. The conference room, another room that appears to not have any kind of a way to access it, unfortunately. Well, the conference room is included. It's rather bland, but like it looks nice, I suppose. There's also the reactor, or not the reactor, but the it's not the shield generator room. It's the it's a room that Obi-Wan goes into to turn off the power to in Episode 4. It's like for the tractor beam power room, I believe. And it looks pretty nice. However, oddly enough, they also chose to put above that, in a very tiny cramped space, the scene where Luke and Leia are like swinging on the rope. And so it's very weird because it's like placed over that, so it's like there's no gap in between it. That's why it's weird, first of all. And second of all, it's weird because it looks like they gave them a pole to swing on, not a rope. Bad choice, I think. Not the play. Really need the rope for that. The pole looks bad. Maybe you can display slightly better. Not worth it though. Also, a honorable mention of a room, because I can't even call it a room. There is a space in front of the trash compactor on the area that's jutting out of the Death Star, where you could put Obi-Wan and Darth Vader fighting, and then there's a door that leads into the hangar bay. So you could have them fighting in front of the trash compactor if you wanted, which just leads right into that. There's no blocking it, which is dumb. I will say it. I think that's dumb. That's dumb. It does not look good. It's like, at that point, don't even include the scene. Don't even include it. So I'm not a fan of that. I think that was poorly done. I'm not, I just did not like that. It really sucks. And you know what's funny? They have the cell block, and then below that is the hallway. Then below that is the trash compactor. So you would think that they would move, like, the trash compactor up and have that directly below the cell block, making sense, and then have the hallway down in the bottom, because then you got the hallway, and like you put Darth Vader and Obi-Wan in the hallway, or you can put Han Solo and all the stormtroopers in the hallway. Makes sense to me, right? Like, it seems to make sense, but, you know, they chose not to do that, so what can you do? Oh well, you know, it is what it is. Also, while there is a cell that opens for Leia to sit in, which is very tiny, and it looks like there is a door for you to open for the trash compactor chute in the cell block, I don't think that chute goes all the way down into the trash compactor from what I can see. If it does, I would be amazed. But I highly, highly, highly doubt that. But maybe. So yeah. And now, I think that is all the rooms. You know, I'm working from memory here, folks. I'm trying. I got a lot of thoughts. I haven't even got into the criticisms or like the deep dive of like why I think this set is kind of bad. But oh gosh, I think that's all the details that are critical to know about the set for a good baseline of like why I'm going to criticize this junk. Here's why I'm going to criticize that junk. This is being marketed as a UCS set. It has the plaque, it has the title, it has the black box art, whatever. But in reality, it's not a UCS set. It is a giant diorama. So it is not a UCS set, it is a diorama. Just like the Attack on Hoth, or the Assault on Hoth set was not a UCS set, it was a Master Builder Series set. Whatever. You know, things get named wrong by LEGO. That's my first gripe. And my gripe the gripe is not because they messed up the name. The gripe is, if this was a UCS set, it should look like the ship it is trying to portray. This just looks like a stack of dioramas in a roughly spherical shape. It should look like the ball with the paneling if it's a UCS set. Or, alternatively, Master Builder Series set, if you didn't want to include paneling. Or heck, you can include paneling but give it full play features and also be like, yep, nope, it's a Master Builder Series set. And that's what should have happened. Ultimately, that is what we should have had on our hands. We should have had a ball with paneling. Because then it looks good because it's paneled and it looks like the Death Star, the ship it is trying to portray. And then the interior is available for those that so wish to access the interior. And, you know, they can either play with it if they're younger, or they can just set up minifigures. And if you want to display it with the interior exposed, you could do that. Now, I know some people gripe about trying to display this item because it would be rather large as a ball, and you couldn't see all the interior or even all the exterior if you put it on a shelf. My reply is that if you are spending $1,000 on a Lego set, you'd probably have... Oh my gosh, I am all up in the other lane. This is not good. Can't see the lines in the rain. Yikes. Yikes, Scoob. Anyways, sorry folks. Anyways, back to my gripe. I'm going in the turning lane. Shoot. Well, I guess I'm going down this road now. Well, this is a bit of a problem. Oh well. I guess I'll find my way. Hello, we're back. Took a wrong turn in the storm, but we're all good now. It's fine. Don't worry. I was rambling a whole bunch, but we're back now. And we're back with me complaining, because, I mean, what else would I do on a Star Wars podcast? Like, praise Lego or something? Impossible. Anyways, as I was saying, you see, the issue is, this set is just not, this is not what people want. This is not what people expected. It's not what they want. Obviously, some people will want this. It's not like everyone hates it. But there's a lot of people that look at this and they go, ew, like, come on. And again, the people that are over here like, oh, you can't display this set properly because it would be too big if it was a ball. If you're buying a $1,000 Lego set, you probably have, the space or the commitment to find the space to display this thing either A, on a shelf that's big enough, or B, on a freaking coffee table or like a side table, like that you can walk all around it to see the full thing. Like, you will find a way to display this thing if you're paying $1,000 for it, man. This is not for Joe Schmo that collects on the side and, puts a few sets, on his bookshelf. So, that's just not a good take, I would say. I just think that's true. But yeah, and so this set should have been a ball. It should have been a paneled ball with interior. Yeah, the rooms may be a bit smaller, and maybe we would have to cut out rooms like the Death Star meditation chamber, which doesn't even exist really, or maybe you couldn't fit an entire Lambda-class shuttle in the dang thing, but it would have been fine, and it would have been a lot better. But instead, they've given us freaking dioramas, all just pushed together. And my thought process is, Lego, you could have made so much more money if you just gave us all of these rooms, or almost all of these rooms, as individual sets. You could have made more money and pissed off less people. Like, you think that would be Lego's goal, to make more money and piss off less of their fans? And let me break this down to you, and I think my logic here is foolproof. If you make a whole bunch of dioramas all stacked on top of each other in one set, you piss off a whole bunch of people because A, they say this is not what it's supposed to be, and B, they're like, I can't afford this. So people that can't afford it are not buying it, and the people that can afford it may not buy it. At least a percentage of them will, a decent percentage I would say, because they're like, yeah, that's ugly and dumb and not what I want. So you're losing a lot of revenue, right? Only your upper echelon is buying this set. Only not only just your top paying customers, but your top paying customers that are either A, loyal enough, or B, somehow super fans of the way this set is designed. You're only having them buy it, right? So that's already your issue. Like, you're selling them a set that, like, is just, and it's already crazily overpriced. Like, $1,000 for this does not look like it's worth $1,000. I'll say that plain and simple, man. So that's already, your first issue. But the resolution to this could have been, you could have released individual dioramas for all of these rooms. You've already done it for 2 of them. You released a $100 throne room, You released a trash compactor, and heck, the trash compactor was bigger and looked better than the trash compactor in this. You could have done this for the meeting room, the Imperial meeting room. You could have done this for the Death Star laser. I think a well-done Death Star laser diorama would have sold great if you did the laser very intricately. Oh gosh, the English language, it tests me sometimes. If you did it very detailed, if you did it very detailed, it would have looked great. It would have looked cool on display. It would have looked very technical. You could have sold that individually. You've already sold a meditation chamber individually as a diorama. You could have sold a hangar-based set, maybe not a diorama, but like a play scale set. You definitely could have done that. You could sell, they've sold, play scales sets of the guns in the Death Star before. You could make a UCS, like, upscaled size, maybe not a UCS set, but like a diorama of upscaled size gun. Like, ion cannon or whatever. Upscale that, make it look really detailed. That would have been cool, man. That would have been cool. You could make, they did technically make a diorama set, but it was like an exclusive for some kind of event of the the front of the cell block where like the control station and the camera was. Make a diorama of that, though. Make a diorama with both the cell and the front of the cell area, the entrance to the prison block. Make that into a diorama. Yeah, you couldn't make the hallway into a diorama, I guess. The tragedy of it all. You can make the hot tub area its own set, though. People would eat that up. People would eat that junk up. And you can make all these individual sets, which way more people could buy. Because there may be people that look at this diorama Death Star, and they like it, but they can't afford it. So why not make individual sets, span them out a couple of years? Maybe they could end up spending, $600 on diorama sets over a few years as they get released. Or at the very least, they buy something. Like, I feel like you would get more sales that way. Honestly. Or some of the play sets too. And it would make it more accessible for people, honestly. And so I think that would be great. I think that would be the play, honestly. I think that would be what you should do, Lego. That would have been smart. And then you release a UCS or a Master Builder Series Death Star that actually is a ball. It's a full ball. And it has paneling and has an interior. That would have been the play. Let me tell you the other reason, because I'm so baffled that they didn't do this, because it seems so blatantly obvious to me. And you could call me a super fan, I guess. But bro, I'm not Einstein here. I ain't no marketing director. But I know this. I know it seems obvious. Because the freaking dioramas would actually come with enough minifigures to fit the diorama. Because this set comes with one of every named figure. So if that named figure, let me correct myself, one version of every named minifigure. Because there's technically 3 Lukes and 2 Hans. Each Luke is different though, Farm Boy, Jedi, Disguise, and the 2 Hans are different, normal and then Disguise. But there's no duplicates of named minifigures, You have a one Palpatine figure, you have one Vader figure. That's it. So if you have all of these dioramas, quote unquote, where you see these guys show up multiple times, how are you going to do that? Unless you go out and buy a whole bunch of them, Because let's break this down. You need a Darth Vader for the meditation room, for the conference room, for the throne room. You could say you might want to use him in the prison, but I'll leave that out. And you're going to want him for the hangar bay if you want to set up all the stormtroopers and officers, make it look like the Emperor's coming. Holy guacamole, that was a rat running across the road. He was a tiny one, maybe he was a mouse, but he's running across the road. I ain't never seen that. I've seen a lot of critters in my day run across the road at night. I ain't never seen a mouse do that on a busy road. That was wild, folks. See, that's why I love doing this podcast in the road. I see all sorts of funky things, and then I'm just like, hey, forget about my yapping about Darth Vader. That's a freaking mouse or a rat. Anyways, I'm going to go back to yapping about Darth Vader, though. Because you need at least 4, maybe even more of them, to fill the Death Star, Dude, what the heck? If you had dioramas for all these things, you get a Darth Vader in every single one of them. But this way, Lego can jip you. They can rip you off. They can screw you over. And I'm like, doggone, man, that's a little messed up. You know what I'm saying? Same thing with even the stormtroopers. You get 6 stormtroopers, 8 if you include the 2 guys in disguise, right? That still isn't enough if you want to have all the stormtroopers chasing Han down the hall. You want to have all the stormtroopers lined up in the hangar bay. You want to have stormtroopers, in the elevator with Luke, because it looks like at least one of the elevators opens up, so you can put a minifigure in there or something. That's not enough. If you want to have stormtroopers at the hangar or at the cell block, if you want to have them on guard places, that's not enough. It's not enough. Same thing with the Imperial gunners. 2 gunners for the cannon, and then no more gunners. There's only 2. So you can't have gunners for the Death Star laser. You want to have gunners for the Death Star laser, heck, you probably should have more than 2, honestly, for that. But even if you use 2 there, you can't use them for the ion cannon. If those are separate dioramas or sets, you get enough gunners. So it's like, even with all these minifigures, Lego is still jipping us. They're still ripping us, like, oh gosh, man. They're screwing us over. It's Like, dude, what the heck? Oh, come on. So yeah, so that's my major gripe with this set, because I look at it and I say it's not the worst thing in the world, The cheese wheel is not the worst thing in the world. Its saving grace is that it has some decent minifigures, even though they do not have the dual molded legs like they should. They're decent. I should say that it looks like some of it looks like at least one of the technicians and the Navy officer has the new hat and hair piece that they're using, or at least some kind of hat and hair piece. So that's really neat. I'm glad to see that they're doing hat and hair for the Imperial officers with the kepis. Those are the hats that they wear. But still, it's not enough. The minifigures should be better, but at least there's some cool ones in there. Galen, the Dignitary, Tag, and Monty. So at least they have that, And it's, it's cool that there's a decent amount of them, but there really should be a lot more. Especially since this is dioramas. Each diorama should have its own set of dudes. It shouldn't be like this dude has to be shared with all the dioramas. But hey, what can you do? What can you do with LEGO doing this? And so, while this set is not terrible looking at it, objectively, I guess, it ultimately could be a lot better if it was a whole bunch of individual sets. It should be a lot better as a whole bunch of individual sets. And it would be available for a lot more folks, And that's really just the way it should have been. And then there should have been that UCS Ultimate Collector Series set that has the full ball and the paneling for those die-hard collectors, Let people that are a bit more casual, or even serious collectors that don't want to have the full ball, they just want one or two rooms that they're really fond of. Let it be that way. But that's not what we got. And so sound like freaking Jar Jar flipping out. And that's the way it is, And that's the way the cookie crumbles. So, in my final review, this set individually, looking at it, trying to be objective, is not the worst thing in the world looking at it. It is by no means worth $1,000, but it's not the worst thing in the world. The minifigures, there's not enough of them, and some of them are flawed for a $1,000 set. There's pretty much all the rooms you could ever ask for. Maybe you want some of the cargo bay or the droid repair room or an extra turbo laser battery, but they're pretty small ask, So you get all the rooms you could want. Everything looks pretty well, even if sometimes it's a bit compact. But it's just the design is really weird as a cheese wheel. It's not the best. We don't even know how the back looks. The back may look terrible. It's not domed off, so it's just... The minifigures are good, but could have been much better, and should be much better for $1,000. The overall design is really weird, not terrible looking, but really weird, and, it suffers from crampness here and there. That's objective looking at it. It's already objectively kind of weird, not good enough for $1,000, not worth $1,000. But then, and that's just looking at the set, but when you look in the broader picture of what could have been done with a whole bunch of individual diorama sets, and then getting a real UCS set, not a diorama set, a real UCS set that was that ball with the paneling, then it just makes this set look even worse, because it's like, what a drop of the ball. Or in this case, a drop of the cheese wheel, And that's just kind of the way it is. That's the way I feel about it. I think that's the way a lot of people feel about it. I think that's just kind of that's what we got. And one way or another, that's the way we got to live with it. I don't think I'm going to buy this set. I would like to see more detail of it, but I don't think I'm going to buy it. The GWP has not fully leaked. There is rumors that the GWP will include the pilot that came in the UCS TIE Interceptor, so the arm-printed TIE pilot, which is cool. Don't know if that rumor's true or not. Still supposed to be a TIE fighter with 3 minifigures, one of them being a pilot. We'll see when that gets leaked. It should leak pretty soon, probably. Just because if we have the Death Star leaked, surely this will leak soon after. So keep an eye out for that. And yeah, it is what it is. Personally, I still think the play is to try and grab some of the minifigures from this set, get the 2016 model, add those minifigures to the 2016 model. I still think that's the play. I think that's the goal. That's my plan as of right now. Unless some review comes out and shows the... Oh, excuse me. Oh, God. Ooh. Pardon me. I have the craziest hiccups, it would seem. Unless some review comes out and shows that the interior is all connected somehow, and like the set just looks great, and like it has all these features that you wouldn't expect, and it's just like awesome, and it's like, unless that happens. Oh crap. Nope. I thought I passed my turn. I did not. Haha! Got it. Alright. Oh, dude, I got a eye behind me, though. Darn. Oh, well. Anyways, yeah, unless the review comes out and it's looking freaking cool as all get out, I don't think I'll be buying it. But yeah, so that's kind of the final take. That's the news update. Let me know. Is this something you would buy, theoretically, if you had the money? I mean, not saying you're a billionaire where you can go buy whatever, but if you had the money saved up and you knew this would be a big purchase, you couldn't make any more Lego purchases for a while, would you buy this? Or if you do have the money, let me know if you're going to buy it. Or let me know if you're not going to buy it. I don't know, man. Like, tell me what you're thinking. Maybe I'm crazy. Maybe my ideas and my views are radical when it comes to the Death Star, but maybe not. I don't think they are. I think a lot of people agree with it. But yeah, that's the take. I hope this has been an entertaining one. Entertaining podcast. A bit more serious, because I'm just like, dude, I want to talk about it. I want to hit all the details. I want to give my thoughts, say why I'm frustrated about the set, all that jazz. But yeah, and I think that's about it, folks. So I hope you've enjoyed it. You've been listening to On the Brick Road Again, the only podcast that's done on the road in a car by yours truly, Kyle. And I just hope all y'all stay safe out there. Have a good one, and peace. Adios.